welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another episode of my series, A Year in the Garden, a Week at a Time. We are 6 weeks before last frost date. This past week we have had a very rainy week. One of the nice things we had was a thunderstorm come through here that just pumped the air with nitrogen. It pumped the air with nitrogen, so everything got green overnight. And the grass is really starting to grow. You'll hear a sound in the background that you haven't heard in a long time, the sound of a lawnmower. So people are actually starting to mow their lawns. This week, 6 weeks before last frost date now, since I've already planted my tomatoes and peppers, I don't have to do that. But if you haven't already planted your tomatoes and peppers, you might want to think about starting those inside. One of the things I want to do this weekend is plant some of my winter sowing because it's busting out of its containers. So let's go ahead and do that right now. So this is one of my raised beds. It's the raised bed that's been with me for a while. It is 3 feet by 12 feet. And it is covered, has these doors on it. And it's covered so that rabbits can't get in it. The birds can get in it, but the rabbits can't get in because I have chicken wire on here. If I would do this again, I would put the hardware mesh on here, not the chicken wire, because the chicken wire just doesn't handle very well. You can see here, I need to do repairs here. But I have to do that every year. So, but I sure like having this all enclosed to keep the animals out of here. This bed is 3 feet deep, 2 feet deep. It is 2 feet deep. And it's always been a really, really good bed for growing. Look at the new bird we have around here. He's tormenting all the birds. This is my cat, Soka. One of the things I forgot to mention is that this bed is made out of western red cedar. And I did western red cedar instead of pressure treated because it's supposed to last a little longer. However, it is, you can see here, it's rotting in the corners. The rest of it seems fine, but I did end up having to do a repair around this corner. This whole, all these boards came loose here. I'll put some pictures in here. So I ended up putting these L brackets in. I don't know if they're gonna last. These are the biggest L brackets I could find until I can find something bigger. I'm gonna have to figure out what to do. But I ended up reinforcing it on the inside as well. So we'll see. I don't know how many more years this is going to last. This bed was built in 2009, so it's going to be 11 years old this year. So yeah, this drives me crazy. Let me explain to you how I prepped this bed. In the fall, I spread a layer of compost, probably about 1 inch deep. And then I put leaves over the top of it. I collect leaves with my lawnmower and put them over the top. About 6 inches of leaves. And then in the spring, I push the leaves aside. You can see here, this is all that's left of all those leaves. And here you can see my lettuce has been planted. So I use the leaves as mulch. Yeah, I hear you. And then, there's so many birds out here right now. Then I take some leftover potting soil from last year and I put a layer of that. And then I take a bag of black cow and I put one bag just in this one section. So it's like 3 feet by 4 feet here. I put one bag of black cow compost on top. So now it is ready for me to go ahead and plant. So this is what I'm planting today. Kale. This is blue curled Scotch kale with it, which is my favorite. This one isn't labeled. It's labeled on the inside, but it's not labeled on the outside. It's spinach. This is spinach. And this is called Mizuna. So this is what the Mizuna looks like. This is a mustard. Mizuna is a mustard. And the greens are excellent raw in salads. The purple stems and dark greens make a lovely contrast, and the delicate flavor is unparalleled. Mizuna is well adapted to both heat and cold extremes and is suitable for several harvests, fast becoming more tasty and cool adapted with each successive cutting. So that one is ready to go as well. All right, let's get this stuff in the ground. So I think we're gonna do the spinach first. You can see the plants are really well grown here. Now when I planted these, I put 9 sections of seeds in. So I did 3 rows in here. Why is that important? Because when I'm ready to take this out, and I usually just, I don't know if you can see me. Here, let me move back here. You can see that. So I cut the corners. And I like to slide this out. So it's not going to come out like I normally take it out. This stuff never cooperates on camera, but it will cooperate if you're not watching. Yep, the ground's not holding together. So, I grab a plant, and I'm going to make a row here. And put it in. There you go. Now, I say this every year, these are going to look pathetic for a couple days. And they will spring back really fast. Once they just settle their roots down a little bit, they'll do fine. So don't worry if they start looking pathetic. They'll be just fine. So there we go, all planted. I ended up putting a layer of leaves in here, just a little bit, enough to give them some protection from the cold nights. We're not really supposed to get any frost for the next 10 days. Mid-30s is as cold as we're going to get, but these guys have been out in this, so they should all be okay. But the leaves add a little bit of insulation. So that is all planted. Mizuna, spinach, I'm sorry, this is Tatsoi. I ended up grabbing that one too. This is kale, and then 2 rows of spinach. Let me show you what else I have in my bed here. These are all my lettuces. What have we got here? This is called crisp mint. It is a romaine type lettuce. This is black seeded Simpson, and that was in one of the packets. I don't know what it is. We'll find out. A red lettuce of some sort. So that's what's in the middle section here. And then in this end section, what you see coming up is radishes. There and there. I just did like a rainbow mix radish. And then the other 2 rows, you could see there and there, are carrots. So by the time the radishes are gone, the carrots will be well on their way. One other thing I noticed is that I was walking around, and these red Norland potatoes that I just planted, are just breaking through the surface. So that didn't take long at all. Of course, these were pretty far along in the bag already. So that is going to do it for this episode. I'm glad to have gotten this stuff planted. It'll do really well here in this raised bed. It always does. I usually plant the same things in this bed. I just rotate where they go, kind of like that cups game, and just kind of rotate them around. I have to find someplace and just make a decision as to where I'm going to be putting my broccoli, because that is ready to come out of the winter sowing, along with the cabbages. They're both ready to come out of the winter sowing, so I have to figure out where I'm going to put those. I haven't made a garden plan this year. I'm not in the mood to make a garden plan. I'm not going to make a garden plan. I kind of know where things are going, but I'm just not in the mood to do it. I haven't been all year, so it's been a strange year already. And it's only 4 months old, not even 4 months old. So that is it. We have been having, last week was fairly warm, although it was wet. And this week we're supposed to be highs in the 50s, lows in the mid 30s to upper 30s. So we should be fine for everything that's outside. Nothing's going to get frozen. I am going to put some of my herbs out in the garden. I noticed that my parsley survived the winter. I never dug it up last year. I just left it. I do every year. And this is the first year in a long time that it survived the winter. So I already have parsley growing in my garden, along with the stuff that I started from seed. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. I hope you got something out of it. Let me know if your winter sowing is ready to come out of its containers and what you are planting in your garden right now. If you're lucky enough to be planting warmer season crops, that I would really love to know that. Again, thank you for watching, and until next time, everybody, happy gardening. Bye-bye. Are we done, Macy? Are you done? Yeah?